if you are avoiding eating those naked carbs, you are reducing the insulin surge, so more time fat burning. You're minimizing hunger crashes that make you reach for more sugar or snacks, and you're going to support the hormonal balance, especially important in the midlife season when your metabolism is shifting. Gaining belly fat in perimenopause and menopause, even while eating trim healthy and doing all the right things? Feeling exhausted, inflamed, and so done with the scale? Hey, I'm Chris Honeycutt, Jesus follower, trim healthy coach, and your midlife hype girl. I believe God didn't design you to live stuck, bloated, or burned out. This podcast helps you partner with your hormones, ditch the belly fat, and finally feel strong, calm, and confident in a body you actually enjoy living in. Hello, friends. Before we dive in today, I just want to say I see you. I remember what it felt like to do all the things, cutting carbs, skipping snacks, pushing harder at the gym, only to see zero progress and feel totally defeated. That's why I created the Midlife Fat Loss Formula, a 6-month group coaching experience that's all about working with your midlife hormones instead of against them. If you've been feeling stuck, this might be the exact shift you need. You can check it out at bit.ly/join fat loss formula. Again, it's bit.ly/join fat loss formula. I'd love to walk alongside you in this season. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Menopause Makeover. I'm talking about strategies for blood sugar balance and insulin sensitivity. But before I get to the best strategies, I want to chat about why this matters. So insulin is the metabolic hormone, and it controls fat burning and fat storage. Yet, most diets don't really address it. Here is how it's supposed to work. You eat, your body turns food into glucose, that's blood sugar, and insulin carries that glucose into your cells for energy. But eating too often, too late, stress, sleep, all that can cause frequent blood sugar spikes, and the pancreas has to constantly pump out insulin to move it. Over time, this can backfire because insulin drops your blood sugar too low, triggering cravings, or your cells stop responding altogether and insulin stays high, leading to insulin resistance. So when insulin is high, it acts as a fat blocker, making it impossible to burn fat. Instead, sugar gets stored as fat. The more fat you store, the more you crave sugar and carbs, creating that vicious cycle that's hard to escape. So additionally, this doesn't help, right? Especially when we're hitting our menopausal years. Things like inflammation, stress, lack of sleep, decrease in estrogen, decrease in muscle, time of day, all impact insulin sensitivity. And this is what we experience as we get older. So the good news is that we actually have more control over this than we think. You can reset your metabolism, you can heal your hormones, and you can become a fat burning machine, literally. It's not that easy, and it won't be quick. I'm just going to tell you the truth here. But the alternative is staying stuck and miserable, jumping from one thing or quick fix to another. So I'm going to share with you some strategies that you can improve your insulin sensitivity. And this right here is going to be something that you're going to practice for a while. The majority of these come from Trim Healthy Wisdom. A couple of these come from other places that are not necessarily taught Trim Healthy Wisdom, but I'm throwing out different keys and tools for you to take and for you to start working on. So first, we want to follow the Trim Healthy Wisdom way of eating, which is balancing our blood sugar by anchoring every meal with protein, adding some plants that have fiber in them, and choosing whether you're going to have an E, energizing, or S, satisfying meal. That is the way. It's really called a balanced plate. That's balance. That is going to help with insulin. This works because it helps you keep your blood sugar stable, which means lower insulin. And that means your body can access fat for fuel. If your insulin is always high, then your body is going to be locked in that fat storage mode. So we want these trim healthy, balanced meals, and that is going to turn on fat burning. Number 2, strength training. Skeletal muscle is the main site of glucose disposal, meaning when you strength train and build muscle, you increase your body's ability to store glucose in muscles instead of converting it to fat. So lifting weights improves insulin sensitivity, both immediately post-workout and long-term. So more muscle means a higher resting metabolism and better carb tolerance. You will store less fat from meals and burn more calories even at rest. Plus, resistance training creates a post-exercise oxygen consumption, we call that EPOC, effect, keeping your metabolism elevated for up to 24 to 48 hours after your session. Next, walk or do 30 body weight squats after meals. And I'll throw in there, you could really do any exercise, but those are a kind of a good way to start. When you move after a meal, your muscles take up glucose without requiring insulin. This bypasses the insulin system temporarily, which is a huge metabolic win, especially if your body is struggling to respond to insulin effectively. So what this does is it keeps your insulin levels lower even after eating carbs, which means you can store less fat. It reduces post-meal crashes and cravings, making it easier to eat better for your next meal or on plan. And the small, consistent glucose blunting gives you your system less inflammation and your hormones rebalance faster. So a 10-minute walk after a meal, especially after an e-meal or a crossover, is a great way to help your insulin be more sensitive. Now, here's another principle. And I don't love always and never. So I'm going to say we really want to avoid eating our carbs by themselves. The occasional apple or popcorn, no big deal. But on a daily basis, we really want to not eat the naked carbs is what they're called, because carbohydrates break down into glucose quickly when they're eaten alone. That's why we usually want to pair them with protein and at least a teaspoon of fat. And don't forget to throw in some fiber, because what happens is if you don't have those anchoring things with the carb, it causes a rapid blood sugar spike. So when you pair your carbs with protein and or fat, and of course some fiber, it's going to slow down the gastric emptying, and it's going to increase the release of hormones like your GLP-1 and peptide YY, which modulate insulin and satiety. So how this works is if you are avoiding eating those naked carbs, you are reducing the insulin surge, so more time fat burning. You're minimizing hunger crashes that make you reach for more sugar or snacks, and you're going to support the hormonal balance, especially important in the midlife season when your metabolism is shifting. Okay, next, number 5, we're going to prioritize fiber. Soluble fiber forms a gel-like substance in the gut that slows carbohydrate absorption and improves insulin sensitivity. It also feeds beneficial gut bacteria that produce short-chain fatty acids, and these play a role in glucose metabolism, and they reduce inflammation, a key driver of insulin resistance. So the fiber is going to promote satiety and delay hunger. You're going to have fewer cravings and less snacking. You're going to have lower calorie absorption, which is going to keep your blood sugar stable, less fat storage. And fiber supports estrogen detox, which helps regulate insulin in perimenopausal women and menopause. So we really want to shoot for about 25 to 35 grams of fiber a day. And you could do something like add baobab or chia seeds or flax seeds or psyllium husk to a morning smoothie or oatmeal. Berries are beautiful with fiber. Those are great to have for breakfast. Throwing in a handful of leafy greens in a smoothie or on the side of your plate. Avocado is beautiful. It's got fat and fiber. And we can swap some of our pastas for maybe roasted sweet potatoes or squash or zoodles or things like that. I want to talk to the woman who's wondering if it's just too late. If you've been thinking, well, I guess this is just how it's going to be from now on. Maybe I'll never feel strong or lean again. I want to speak directly to you. It is not too late, my friend. Your body is not broken. You just need a plan that works with your hormones, your metabolism, and your real life. That's why I built the Midlife Fat Loss Formula. It is my 6-month group coaching program where we walk step by step through the exact things your body needs to shift back in to fat burning mode. You'll learn how to eat in a way that fuels you, how to move in a way that actually works, and how to create sustainable habits that last beyond the 6 months. It's not about perfection. It's about progress that sticks. Women like Michelle and Anita are seeing major shifts, not just on the scale, but in their labs, in their confidence, and even their strength. So if you've been needing that nudge to take the next step, this is it. Come on over to bit.ly/join fat loss formula. That's bit.ly/join fat loss formula. I would love to support you inside. Next, number 6 is eat vegetables or protein at the beginning of your meal. Now, this is not a trim healthy encouragement or guideline. This is just something that has been studied that eating your protein or your veggies first can help. Basically, what you're doing is you're increasing your fiber intake with those veggies before the starch hits your bloodstream. Same thing with your protein. This is going to slow down digestion and blunt the glycemic impact of your entire meal. It also stimulates the incretin hormones that support insulin sensitivity and glucose control. So this is really going to help you balance your blood sugar, and it's going to reduce post-meal inflammation that could block fat loss signals like leptin. So just a suggestion, not a rule. Next, number 7, apple cider vinegar before meals. Acetic acid improves insulin sensitivity, slows gastric emptying, and activates AMPK, a cellular enzyme that encourages fat oxidation, basically burning your own fat for fuel. It also blunts the post-meal glucose rise. So using the ACV can lower insulin after meals, which means less fat storage, activate fat burning pathways directly at the cellular level, and help stabilize energy and reduce cravings. Isn't that amazing? I love that. So up to 1 tablespoon in water before your meal can help your body burn fat rather than store glucose. Number 8, manage stress. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which increases blood glucose and triggers insulin. Over time, high cortisol also promotes fat storage around the abdomen, which is called visceral fat, the dangerous fat, which further worsens insulin resistance and metabolic health. So we want to lower our cortisol by managing that stress so that we have less belly fat accumulation. We will have improved insulin function and be more efficient at burning fat if we can manage our stress. And better stress regulation actually reduces emotional eating triggers. So something like a 10-minute daily breath work or meditation or journaling can lower that cortisol. Even a gentle walk outside can really help with the stress management. And there's other things as well, but we really want to work on that. Okay, number 9, getting enough sleep. And boy, this is tricky. I know it's tricky, but we want to work on this. Sleep regulates appetite hormones, your ghrelin and your leptin, your cortisol and insulin. So sleep deprivation causes the body to become more insulin resistant overnight. Even after just one night, poor sleep also increases cravings and kind of lowers your motivation for exercise because of lower energy levels. So we really want to get our sleep because it will improve insulin sensitivity, more fat mobilized for energy. reduce cravings, which will be easier to stay on track, and it's going to promote muscle recovery, which is going to give you that stronger metabolism. So we really want to work on our sleep. Number 10, we don't want to snack in between meals. I call these BLTs, bites, licks, taste, or snacks. Every time you eat, your insulin is released. When you constantly snack, insulin never gets a break, keeping your body stuck in storage mode. But when you go 3.5 to 4 hours between meals, insulin can drop low enough to allow fat to be released and burned for energy. So this supports fat loss by encouraging metabolic flexibility. So your body gets better at burning fat. You're going to have fewer insulin spikes, and you're going to improve your hunger hormones, and meals are more satisfying. So we're going to avoid the snacking. Number 11, preferably stop eating 3 hours before bedtime. This is working with your circadian rhythm because that affects your insulin sensitivity. We're more insulin resistant at night. So eating late means more glucose stays in the bloodstream longer and is more likely to be stored as fat. So eating and giving yourself that window of 3 hours is going to help your body shift into nighttime fat burning mode. It's going to improve your sleep quality by preventing blood sugar crashes, and it's going to support overnight repair and hormone regulation. So we want to really keep our meals 3 hours, maybe eating by 6 or 7 at the latest. I happen to be a later night eater, and I've really had to work on this. Number 12. We can supplement with, well, there's definitely supplements out there. Trim Healthy has a beautiful one, but I'm going to kind of talk more here about resistant starches. Resistant starches, basically what they are is they're not digested in the small intestine. Instead, it ferments in the large intestine and it produces short chain fatty acids like butyrate, which improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation. It also feeds good gut bacteria. So when we are utilizing these resistant starches, it lowers our post-meal glucose and insulin, which means we spend more time in fat burning mode. It improves fullness and satiety, which is helpful for natural calorie reduction, and it supports gut health, better hormone balance, and metabolic control. Some of these resistant starches are going to be green banana powder or even using a green banana, lentils, sweet potatoes, regular potatoes, beans, all of these that are cooked and then cooled are going to be more of your resistant starches. So I've just given you 12 things to work on. I would encourage you to pick 1 or 2 things at a time to start implementing and do that for about 4 weeks. And then maybe take a look at another. It's really difficult to start doing 12 new things. And maybe you're probably doing some of this already, but it's better to pick 1 or 2 things to work on and create those sustainable habits and do this over time. This is not an overnight fix, but this is a way to help increase your insulin sensitivity, which is going to help you turn on fat burning and honestly really support your hormones the best way that you can. Hey friends, if you're ready for real results, the kind that last because they're built for your midlife body, let's chat. I offer a free discovery call to see if one-on-one coaching is the right fit for you. In that call, we'll look at your current habits, hormones, and lifestyle, and I'll share how I can help you personalize a plan for food, fitness, and fat loss that actually works in this season of life. So go to getyourtrimon.com/work with Chris and grab your spot. Let's find out what your body's been trying to tell you.